Hello, beautiful souls. You are now listening to a ride along with Cypher. If you haven't guessed it already, I'm your host, Cypher, and I will be speaking on whatever's on my mind this time. I might throw a title on it if it seems like a generalized topic that I kind of point towards, but for now I'm just driving on the road. You ever just been having a really good day and then one thing comes along, and even though it's kind of like small, or not even small, it can be big, but just having a good day and like one thing just come along and kind of just like the whole day, you know what I'm talking about? Well, you know, that happens occasionally, and it just comes down to a point of whether or not you are going to allow that one little to up your whole entire day. And I say nay, because that's just not the vibes. I'm not perfect, okay? I struggle with things, sometimes minusculely, sometimes immensely, but struggle does come my way more often than I'd like, and more often than I'd even like to admit. But it took me years to even work with myself enough to get up to a point where I'm honest with myself, and that in itself brought along a lot of growth and a lot of good and beautiful and meaningful things. Because a lot of times the truth is hard. And no matter how much in plain sight the truth is, many, you know, just blatantly ignore it, regardless of the facts, sometimes blatantly obvious facts. But what I've come to observe is that what I would normally deem as obvious, in a general sense, speaking like of the just generalized population, is actually not that obvious, apparently. I was stating things as given, or accentuating these circumstances with minimal information, or kind of breezing past certain things, because I didn't really realize the level that we are on fundamentally as a society. And if I'm being honest with you, it's kind of disappointing. I would have thought that we'd be doing much better, especially 2022, man. Like, I knew people growing up, the older people were convinced when I was younger that by the time that I grew up, that by the time that I was able to drive a car, that there would be flying cars. And we're still having to fight racism and discrimination, sexism. People are still living their lives, living their whole life and dying without feeling like they even had a sense of purpose. And that scares me. One of my biggest fears is growing older and not getting wiser. I've been around the block for my age. I'm 24, but that's not too important. people, and I've talked to different groups in different demographics of people, and one of the most surprising of the whole bunch is just older people that either, haven't done much with their life and are content with it, or don't even want to do much with their life. They're kind of just happy doing the same thing they've always been doing, staying in their comfort zone, and depressed or still anxious and working toward a goal that they even they themselves know that they're not going to achieve. That's truly terrifying and sad to me, that we as a society want, well, especially in America, how we don't really respect our elders, and how the older generation, older people are kind of just shoved into the side, like, just get them out the way, put them in a nursing home with a bunch of other dying people, or just degrade them. I think in American society, or even, I feel like America is like setting the tone for, or it's like a testing ground of societal boundaries that are to be deemed either acceptable or not acceptable. And so it's like spreading just the ideologies and the limitations. But in America, like, just it's frightening how we push this image, this unachievable image of youth and wealth that is in the majority unattainable, and it's not plausible. We we let the children look up to these celebrities and these stars that are not setting good examples within themselves. They're not even happy. You can have all the things that this world offers, all the riches, all the partners, all the drugs and alcohol you want, whatever it is, that doesn't warrant happiness. You can't buy peace. You can buy artificial, substances that will increase dopamine levels or serotonin, whatever, and experience a state of temporary peace. And maybe if you can stay in it long enough, then you can have that state elongated. But sooner or later, it's all going to fade away. You can't stay high forever. You can't stay drunk forever. You can't run away from your problems anywhere so far that they won't be able to find you. Like those older movies, like those older slasher movies or whatever. Like, I'm thinking like maybe Friday 13th or something. Nightmare on Elm Street. He was like, you can run, but you can't hide. Like, we can run from our problems. You can run until your legs give out and your body stops working. But you can't hide. And no matter how far you run, eventually you're gonna get caught. And in most cases than not, when you're caught, the pain is greater than what you started running from. And the more you push down negative feelings, the more you deny your true self, the worse and worse the situation gets. And the more and more pain that you cause yourself in the future and in the present. Because see, also while you're running away from your problems, you may be running away from that problem over there, but you're going to that problem over there. You just passed that problem over there. And then you're running into this problem. Your legs hurt, your feet hurt, your back hurts, you're sweaty, it's hot, you're thirsty. You know, when you stop, you see, look back, see your problems trucking up to you. What do? You try to run more. The only way to overcome anything is to confront it. Face on. Without fear. Without judgment. Without worry. Nothing truly good is just handed to you. For everything of lasting value, you must put forth effort in accordance with its worth. You have to put forward the work and the energy that it is worth. Otherwise, it's not going to last. And then even when you have a good thing, you have to put forth energy to keep it, that you may not lose it. It doesn't just stop upon attainment. The journey doesn't stop at enlightenment. It doesn't stop upon realization. Simply. After enlightenment, you have to learn how to live in an unenlightened world. And after realization, you have to put that wisdom into action, lest it befall you and betray you. Because wisdom not put in action, let me say it like this. Inactive wisdom is foolishness. It's one thing just to learn something. It's easy to learn something, to memorize something, to understand something. That's simple. But to go out into the world and put it into action, that's the real trial. The acquisition of knowledge is only the beginning step of the journey. Even the attainment of knowledge is but the beginning stage. After such, you move on to the actual trials and tests, each one with increasing difficulty, requiring greater levels of intellectual energy. Much love and peace to you, and don't go around the obstacles. If you have a problem, go through it, face it. Don't run away. Do not be afraid. You're not alone. And your energy is far greater than you could ever imagine.